We are meant to call from out of the past stories, strange and weird.
Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre.
Stories of the supernatural, the supernormal, dramatized in fantasy, the mystery, the unknown. We tell you this frankly, so if you wish to avoid the excitement and tension of these imaginary plays, we urge you calmly, sincerely, to turn off your radio now.
This is The Horror. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me this Saturday. We're going to hear from the Hermit's Cave this week. A series that debuted over station WJR out of Detroit, Michigan, September of 1936, aired there until May of 1947. Over 500 episodes were produced. Our story today is from May 2nd, 1937. It's titled The Author of Murder.
The Mummers in the Little Theater of the Air.
Ghost stories, weird stories, and murders, too. The Hermit knows of them all. Turn out your lights. Turn them out. Ah, have you heard the story? The author of murder, eh? Then listen while the Hermit tells you the story.
Hazel Clinton. Well, I'm glad to see you. Come in and sit down. Let me look at you. Ah, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you again, too.
Only seen you once since your marriage. Where do you and Lyman hide out? And how is that author husband of yours anyway?
Well, it's your fault you haven't seen us. Been invited 3 times, you know.
Ham couldn't get away. Besides, why do you live way out in the wilderness? Hazel, you're not ill. Or are you?
No, Dr. Russell. It isn't I.
Bob. Not Dr. Russell to you, my dear.
It's easier to call you Dr. Russell on a call like this.
What can I do for you, Hazel? Here. Want to smoke? Have a cigarette.
Thanks.
There now.
I came to talk to you about Lyman.
Yes? Is he ill, Hazel?
It's worse than that. I don't know what it is, but it's something dreadful. Terrible, I know.
You tell me the best you can.
Well, at first, when we moved out in the country, he seemed so happy. He was busy writing a new novel.
And he had you there with him?
Yes. I thought that should make him happy. He'd made me rush the marriage so.
Married 2 months before you planned to be, weren't you?
Yes. But then, several months after we'd been out in the country, Lyman began to act very strange. Very strange.
What do you mean?
Well, at first I thought it was fear of something. I don't know what. And then he began to sit in the library. All night long.
Writing, you mean?
Some, perhaps. But when he'd come upstairs early in the morning, he'd look like someone who had undergone a terrible struggle. An ordeal. His face would be white and chalky. His eyes would jerk and his lips tremble.
How long has this been going on?
For a month now. Oh, it's terrible. Something's driving him mad. Whatever it is, it'll kill him.
Hazel, I don't know what to say. I can't say anything right offhand. But you know, my dear, writers... Well, anyway, Lyman has always been rather a peculiar chap. Normal, of course. Normal as any other.
He's not normal now. He's changed. He's not the same. Oh, you've got to do something.
Can you get him to come and see me?
No, that's the trouble. I can't. He won't leave the house for a day. I've begged him to get out, but he won't.
Tell him you were coming to see me?
Oh, mercy, no. Just in town shopping.
And you want me to come to him. Is that it?
Exactly.
Without his knowing, I'm making a professional call.
Yes. I want you to come for the weekend, and while there, see if you can do anything for him.
I'm not a psychiatrist, honey. I may advise pills when he needs a change of air.
Oh, I know you. You'll do the right thing. When can you come?
Well, want me this weekend? Tomorrow?
Indeed, I do.
I think I can get away this weekend. I will. I'll be there.
Oh, fine. I feel better already. About Lyman, I mean. I know you can help him if anyone can.
Don't put too much faith in a doddering old surgeon, my dear.
Oh, you're the best physician in the world, because I have faith in you. I'll be expecting you for dinner.
Hazel, this has been a splendid dinner. I've really eaten more than I ought.
Oh, it's nice to see a man relish a meal. Lyman rarely eats.
I'm going to tell you, Bob, that I have no appetite. But it isn't true.
Lyman, you know it is. Why, night after night he leaves the table scarcely touching his plate.
It isn't true, I tell you.
Well, perhaps Lyman is more sensible than I am. Now, I know too hearty a meal isn't good for me, particularly at night. I don't recommend it to my patients, but like all who preach, I don't practice my own teachings.
Like the shoemaker's children who go without shoes?
Or something like that.
Well, if you finished your coffee, shall we go to the drawing room?
Fine. Now, Lyman, how about telling me about your new novel? What's the theme?
I haven't been writing lately.
But he has to soon. He's promised his publishers it'd be ready in a month.
Don't remind me what I have to do. I'll have it ready.
I'm sure you will. With Hazel here for inspiration, it ought to go fast.
Shall we go to the drawing room then?
Yes. This way, Bob.
Beautiful here. Beautiful, really. Hazel, this is a lovely home you have out here in the country.
I'm glad you like it.
Quiet and peaceful, too. Ought to be a writer's paradise.
Oh, here, Bob. Sit in this chair. I'm sure you'll find it comfortable.
Thank you.
Where are you going to sit, Lyman?
If you'll excuse me, I think I'll go to the library. I have some work to do.
Don't let me annoy you, Lyman, or keep you from work.
But I thought you'd like to visit with Bob.
I tell you, I have work to do.
All right, of course we'll excuse you.
Yes, I have work to do.
Will you join us later?
Perhaps. No, don't wait for me. It's getting late. I'm sure Bob will want to retire soon.
Oh, but it's early yet, Lyman.
All the same, don't wait for me.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know what to think.
He does act strange, doesn't he?
Yes.
Isn't the same.
No, he isn't.
Changed. I'm so awfully worried. Notice how he glances everywhere and looks nowhere?
I did.
What can be the trouble?
Seems to be listening for something. Waiting for something.
Yes, that's it.
Of course, Lyman's never been very loquacious.
No, that's right. He dislikes small talk.
There's something almost rude about his taciturnity this evening.
I know. Oh, Bob, as a doctor, not as a friend, what would you say is the matter?
My dear, I can't answer you yet.
Is it I? Is he tired of me?
No, I don't think so.
But I must know. Notice how white and drawn his face is.
He's under some strain, all right.
What do you propose to do?
As soon as you go upstairs to bed, I'm going to the library and sit with him.
Oh, but he won't let you.
I'm accustomed to giving orders, not taking them.
I know, but you don't
He'll
know
let
how...
me stay. Did you notice how he kept looking towards the library and yet tried to hide it from us?
Why, yes. Now that you mention it, I do.
I have a feeling that whatever it is that's bothering Lyman, the library has something to do with it. I'll do my best tonight to find out what it is.
Who is it?
It's I, Bob.
What do you want?
Let me in, won't you?
Sorry, I'm busy.
Why lock the door, Lyman?
Never mind. Go away.
Lyman, I'll call one of the servants to open it for me. I'll rouse the whole house.
You can't come in. All right. Well?
Come on, let a fellow in.
Came here to snoop, I know it. Hazel brought you here to watch me.
And you admit that there is something wrong, Lyman.
I admit nothing. What time is it?
Chimes just struck as I came down the hall. Let's see. 11:45.
Then you must go. Get out of here.
I don't understand.
The door. I must lock the door.
Come on, Lyman. Tell me what it is that's bothering you.
Go. Leave me alone.
No, I'm here to stay.
I have a gun here, Dr. Russell.
But you won't use it. Not on me.
She'll be coming in a moment. She'll try to get out of this room, rattle the doorknob. Try to get out of this library to kill my wife.
I confess I don't know what you're talking about. Who will come, Lyman?
You'll hear her in a minute. Moving out of those bookshelves. Moving towards me. Towards the door.
Who do you mean?
At first, you'll smell the perfume she always wore.
Lyman, who are you talking about?
Shirley Gray. Ghost of Shirley Gray.
Shirley Gray?
Ghost of Shirley Gray. She lives in this room. At night, midnight, she tries to get out and kill Hazel.
Oh, now come, Lyman. You've been working too hard. Your mind is weary. Your imagination is working overtime. Better go up and get some sleep.
I knew this would be the way. I knew what you'd say. You think I'm out of my mind. You think I'm crazy. Well, I'm not. You doctors are fools. Can't see. Only measles, smallpox. You only can see something that bats you in the face.
It's only because I can see. I'm asking you to go upstairs and get some rest. No one can go on sleepless for weeks and remain sane.
I'm sane, all right. More than you are. Listen. The clock. It's midnight. She'll be here in a moment. Listen. Listen, do you hear? Listen if you dare. Do you hear her?
I hear nothing, Lyman.
She's coming nearer. I can almost see her tonight. She's dressed in a soft, flowing gown. She's coming closer towards me. Nearer. Nearer. She's coming nearer. Shirley, I didn't kill you. I didn't mean to kill you.
Lyman, what on earth is the matter?
Dr. Russell, don't grab my arm. Let me go. Let me go, I tell you. Let me go. Can't you see? She's moving towards the door. She wants to get out. No! No, you can't get out of here. I'll stop you. No! No! You can't get out that door. Get back. Back into the shelves. I didn't mean to kill you, Shirley. Get back into the shelves. Back. Back. I'm pushing her back. I'm winning. Winning. Back. Back into the shelves. Back. There.
Lyman, what is it?
It's all over now. I won. She didn't get out. She's gone back. Now I can go upstairs and sleep. Sleep. I've won the battle for another night. Now I
Who is Shirley who comes out of the bookcase at midnight? Is it someone Lyman killed? The Hermit will tell you before the night is done.
There are people in most countries who would like to live in the Republic of the United States or the Dominion of Canada where that good Olga coal is sold. The citizens of our free countries are the envy of many people elsewhere because of the personal freedom which we have enjoyed. Why, then, doesn't every country adopt a form of free government? One answer is that, unfortunately, there are people and parties in many nations who are so greedy for power that they will sacrifice the freedom of their fellow countrymen to obtain power for themselves. History, even recent history, is replete with such instances. That is why the citizens of the Republic of the United States and the Dominion of Canada must be careful to recognize at its very beginning any movement to steal or limit their freedom. That is not always easy. The man who would enslave a free people doesn't begin by saying, "Now I'm going to be your dictator." Instead, he probably will claim that he is a devoted supporter of personal freedom, but all the while he will support policies that weaken and undermine personal freedom. Such a man will deny any totalitarian aims, but free citizens must not be deceived by such denials. Apparently, it is a cardinal principle of every sincere totalitarian that he is justified in lying, if such lies will advance his plans. In these times, no public figure and no party or organization supporting such a person can be accepted without careful consideration. Every public figure and organization must be carefully scrutinized, and if their real aims are to limit or to destroy our freedom as individuals, they must be opposed and defeated. Now the Hermit again.
The next morning, Dr. Russell talks to Lyman about the mysterious Shirley. Is the doctor talking to a murderer, eh?
Lyman, I want to hear the story. In this clear, clean daylight, I want you to tell me your story.
It's nothing I can tell you.
I'm your friend, Hazel's friend. I can't see your lives ruined, see your whole future shattered. Some strange thing that holds you that, if it were brought out into daylight, would vanish.
You think it would?
I'm sure it would.
It's with me as much in the day as it is at night.
I found out since last night that Shirley Gray was a character in your last novel. Now, certainly, Lyman, you aren't going to sit there and tell me that you believe a character out of a storybook can return to haunt you.
Yes, she does.
It's absurd. Besides, from what I know of ghosts, doors wouldn't bother them. They'd walk right through them.
Not Shirley. She isn't strong enough yet. She hasn't been dead long enough.
And how should she kill Hazel? How do you know she wants to kill her?
For revenge. I killed Shirley when she was still young, lovely. She didn't want to die.
But how do you know she wants to kill Hazel?
Because night after night, she's come to me, guided my hand while I write. It's written, I'll take your wife from you, just as you snatched my lover.
Lyman, listen to me. Characters from storybooks, I don't care how real they are to you, were never flesh and blood. They can't inhabit a spirit world.
But Shirley Gray was flesh and blood. I took her out of life and put her in a book.
You mean you used some real girl as a type for your story?
Yes, I did.
Tell me about it, Lyman. Perhaps I'll be able to aid you.
It was several months before I was married. You remember I went up to that lake in the north to write?
I remember.
It was while I was there that I met Shirley Gray. She was the most strikingly beautiful girl that I'd ever seen.
Max, this is Mr. Clinton. Mr. Lyman Clinton.
How do you do, Mr. Clinton? Shirley tells me you're an author. She's frightfully keen on your stories. But I'm ashamed to say I don't believe I've ever read any of your work.
Oh, don't apologize. Please, I'm the one who should do that. Afraid I write for money, not fame.
Oh, it isn't true. We've had a grand time talking books. From early French beginnings of the novel to modern. From Zola to John Le Peffer.
Oh, it's nice of you to entertain Shirley, Mr. Clinton. I can only come out weekends. Gets pretty lonely here at the lake with only her folks for company.
The pleasure's been mine, I assure you.
Come on. We're wasting a glorious day meant for swimming. I'll race you to the second sandbar, Shirley.
Right. Want a bet? What do they say?
Whatever you say. And so I spent days at the lake with her, walking through the woods, talking, and falling in love with her.
But this Max, who was he?
The boy she loved was engaged to.
Yes? Go on, Lyman.
In Shirley's company, I could feel myself groping for new thoughts, beginning to live more than I ever had before. She had a free and full imagination.
Yes?
She wasn't muddled by life as most people are. She possessed a spiritual insight, clear, alive.
I understand.
And one night I told her how I felt about her.
But Hazel, you were engaged to Hazel at the time.
I'd forgotten about Hazel. She belonged in another world. She had no existence in this one.
And so you told this Shirley?
Yes. We'd climbed one of the high sand dunes that afternoon, had returned. It was dusk. Shadows had begun to settle on the water. Stars were beginning to fill the sky. And we'd paused to watch their reflection.
You will be returning home soon, Lyman. And so will I.
I shall never leave this spot, nor you.
Not in mind, perhaps, but in actuality. This lake, the beauty of it all, will be something to remember on cold winter nights.
It's no use to disguise things from you, Shirley. You know I'm in love with you.
I know that, Lyman.
I'll never let you leave me. Never.
I think you will. You understand me. And yet you don't.
Meaning?
That you've read many things into me that don't exist at all. And have omitted one thing. The main thing.
Which is?
That I love Max. Love him very much.
No place for me?
Don't beg. I hate it. With Max, life is easy, unconfused. We're happy on a simple plane. We'll romp through life together and fight together. But not with too much effort.
The easy way?
Perhaps. But why take the difficult? I like life. It's fun. It may be drab and hard some days. But not now.
I haven't misunderstood you, Shirley. Quite the contrary. And I love you.
Please, Lyman, let's not talk anymore. Look at the water. See the boat way off in the distance? Covered with 1,000 lights. Going somewhere. Let's just sit here and watch.
That night was the last time I saw Shirley Gray alive.
Yes, what happened to her?
She left the lake the next day. 2 days after, I returned home.
And asked Hazel to hasten your marriage?
Yes, because I wanted to forget this girl as soon as I could.
I understand.
But I couldn't forget her. I couldn't. She was with me constantly. So I began to write a story about her. That drove me wild.
Yet you finished the book? Published it, in fact.
Yes, I finished it. But do you know what I did?
I think I know.
I couldn't bear to think of Shirley living without me. So I killed her in the story. Then the very day that I killed her in the book, she was killed in life.
What?
Yes, killed. In an automobile. Instantly.
It had nothing to do with your story. You weren't to blame.
I was. I fought so hard, wanted it so much. I brought it about. I killed her. She wasn't ready to die. She won't accept death. Now she comes back to haunt me for retribution. Tell me, Doctor, what am I going to do? Help me if you can. Help me, please.
I will, Lyman. Tonight we shall go to the library together, and I will help you. I have a plan.
I killed her. I killed her.
How do you do, young man? You're Max Pierce, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I am.
I'm Dr. Russell.
Oh, yes, Dr. Russell. I'm glad to meet you. But there's nothing you can do for me. I was in an automobile accident. Smashed up. Always have to walk with crutches.
I know what I'm going to ask of you will seem very strange and personal, but I have a very good reason. Will you hear me?
Oh, yes. What is it?
You were engaged to Shirley Gray, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
And loved her?
We were to have been married. I don't understand you.
You will in a moment. Shirley Gray died?
Yes. And I had to live on. I don't want to.
If you're able, your doctor told me I might take you with me tonight to help save another man's sanity. We have to drive in the country. I'll tell you the story on the way.
This is all strange to me.
Now, don't be afraid. It's all right. Will you come?
Yes, I'll come.
To my car, then. I'll tell you the story as we drive to our destination. That's all there is to tell right now.
It doesn't seem possible.
I'm sane and considered to be a level-headed man. I've never believed in ghosts. Never.
Nor I.
But I'm compelled to believe this time.
But why doesn't she come to me?
Perhaps she will. Tonight. Here we are. It's 11:30. You'll find him in the library waiting.
Who is it?
It's I.
Yes? Come in. Who's this? Who have you brought with you?
Max Pierce. Do you remember him?
Why have you brought him here?
Please, Mr. Clinton, I want to help you. And I want to see Shirley.
Perhaps he can talk to her.
You've made a mess of things. Seeing Max will craze her. She'll kill all of us.
No, I think it will give her peace.
She wants revenge, not peace.
But you need help. You can't go on this way.
Sit down, both of you. Be quiet and listen. Listen. Do you hear that rustling sound? It's the wind and the water. She brings the sound with her. Listen. She's coming. Nearer. Nearer. I can see her tonight. Do you see her?
What? Yes. Yes, I do see her. Shirley, my darling. Shirley, speak to me.
Max. Max, you've come to me.
Oh, yes, Shirley, I'm here. My darling, I love you.
Do you want to come with me now? Forever?
I do, yes. Surely I do.
But your revenge upon me.
I shall have my revenge. You shall go on living, suffering for killing others.
Surely.
Don't be afraid to die. Death will be lovely when we are together.
What have I done?
I forgive you, Lyman Clinton. I leave you in peace. Come to me, Max. Follow me.
Yes, Shirley. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you.
Could Lyman's story actually have caused the death of Shirley Gray? Her spirit returned and took Max Pierce to her, leaving Lyman to ponder and suffer the rest of his life. Turn on your lights. Turn them on. I'll be back. Pleasant dreams.
All characters, places, and occurrences mentioned in the Hermit's Cave are fictitious, and similarity to persons, places, or occurrences is purely accidental.
That's the horror for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. You can find a lot more from The Hermit's Cave at relicradio.com, alongside thousands of other old-time radio episodes, all the other podcasts, our Shoutcast stream, plenty to listen to. And if you'd like to help support it all, help keep it coming to everybody every week for free, visit donate.relicradio.com or click on the donate link while you're on the website. It's the only way we keep going. There is no advertising, and I like it that way. And I hope you do too, and I hope you'll come back next Saturday for another episode of The Horror. And I hope you'll come back next Saturday for another episode of The Horror.
Strange Tales.
RelicRadio.com presents tales of the strange and bizarre, the weird and the wicked. Stories not necessarily of the supernatural, but of the unnatural. Join us now for Strange Tales, featuring radio drama at its most mysterious and unusual. Welcome back to Strange Tales. Thanks for joining me this Sunday. We're going to hear from The Haunting Hour this week, a series produced between May of 1945 and May of 1946, 52 episodes. It originally aired over NBC stations, though it was syndicated and aired over other networks in subsequent years. Our story today first aired sometime in 1945. It's titled Perfect Crime.
No, stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment. For this is a time of mystery. A time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the haunting hour. Perfect crime. Murder, fashioned in words. Murder to titillate the sense of adventure. Murder as written in the fascinating fiction of Robert Lane, master storyteller of mystery yarn.
What a tale this will be. It almost writes itself, it flows so easily. I just sit here and let the typewriter tell the story.
Vance, you're going to die. See this gun in my hand? Don't be a fool, Jed. You can't get away with it. Don't try to talk me out of it. I've planned this too long to let anything interfere.
I'm telling you again, Jet, you can't get away with it.
I can't, huh? And why not? What's to prevent me from killing you? Tell me that, Vance.
Use a little common sense and you'll have the answer. Certainly you can shoot me. But what will it get you?
Satisfaction. Satisfaction of knowing you'll never marry Myra.
But neither will you.
And why not? She loved me once, before you came along and took her away from me. And with you out of the way...
So that's it. With me out of the way, you think you'll have the inside track with Myra again. Well, you're wrong.
Go on. Tell me why Myra won't return to me.
Because she will be undergoing treatment in the well-known fireless cooker.
The electric chair?
Yes. The electric chair, the hot seat. The scientific contraption that converts a murderer into a corpse.
Don't make me laugh. I've considered this from every angle. Here's what's going to happen. First, I'll shoot you.
The shot will be heard. People will come running up here.
Sorry to disappoint you, Vance. People will not come running up here because the shot will not be heard. I've taken care of that. You'll notice my gun is equipped with a mechanism which will muffle the sound of the shot.
But suppose it doesn't work.
Oh, it will. I just tested it. I fired a shot up into the air through an open window. No one heard it. And, oh yes, I replaced the bullet so the police won't find two empty cartridges where there should be only one.
But
then I'll carefully wipe away all traces of my fingerprints and remove the silencer. Oh, rest assured, I'll be very careful of that. I'll leave no incriminating evidence behind. The only thing I'll leave will be the gun in your dead hand.
you're mad.
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate how carefully I've planned your suicide. Robert Lane sits and pounds his typewriter. The words flow freely. A thrill of satisfaction courses through him. The satisfaction of a creative artist who beholds his work in the formative process and knows it is good.
What a story. What a story. Come in. Oh, it's you, McGinnis. Come in.
I hope I'm not disturbing you, Mr. Lane.
Oh, it's all right. I'm about ready for a breather anyway.
Writing another one of your mystery stories, huh?
Oh, not another one, McGinnis. I'm writing the greatest mystery yarn of all time.
Good, huh?
Good is hardly the word for it. It's perfect.
Huh?
The story of a perfect crime.
Don't say.
McGinnis, you're witnessing a memorable moment in the history of literature.
Huh?
This story is so good, I'm afraid to have it published.
I don't get it.
My friend, I'm about to do what every writer dreams of. Depict the story of a perfect crime.
Mr. Lane, I'm just a dumb hotel detective, so I don't know all the answers like you writers do, but tell me,
What's wrong with printing the story of a perfect crime?
Use your imagination, McGinnis.
Huh?
Look, suppose you wanted to kill someone, but you were afraid to because you might get caught.
Uh-huh.
Then you read a story that tells you how to commit the murder and still be safe.
Uh-huh.
What would you do?
Well, guess I'd bump the guy off like it says in the story.
Exactly. And that's what may, in fact, undoubtedly will happen if this story ever gets into print. Just imagine the consequences.
Be pretty bad, huh?
Nothing short of a catastrophe. Or the country may be deluged by a wave of killings and the police will be helpless to solve them.
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Lane. The police are pretty smart when it comes to figure things out.
Spoken like a cop, McGinnis. Naturally, I don't agree with you. The police are able to pin down the average murderer because the average murderer is a pretty dumb cluck. And someone with brains and imagination...
I know. You geniuses who write what you call murder mysteries, you always solve the case by brilliant detection that's out of the world. Huh? While we dumb flatwoods use just plain old police methods. We managed to get results.
Well, as I said before, you and I have argued this many times, that's because the average murderer leaves behind some clue or clues that even you cops can't miss.
Right.
But a really smart murderer, like the fellow in my story, doesn't leave any clues.
Then how do you solve it in the end?
I don't. This is the story of the perfect crime. It defies solution. It simply can't be solved.
Not even by you?
Not even by me.
That's something new. One of you geniuses not being able to find the murderer. I thought you fellas always got your man, by using that psychology and inspiration and razzle-dazzle. That stuff that turns an ordinary cop's stomach when it doesn't make him laugh.
No, not this time, McGinnis. This is the perfect crime.
Oh, I bet you dumb flatfoots could figure it out.
Yeah, we could go on like this forever, but you didn't come to my apartment to expound your theories of crime detection. What's on your mind, McGinnis?
Well, sort of wondered if you'd mind autographing this story of yours in one of the magazine here I brought with me.
Why, sure, I'll be glad to.
Thanks. Hey, the way you push that pen around with your left hand gets me.
I've been left-handed all my life. You all right?
Oh, thanks.
I thought you didn't care for my razzle-dazzle ideas of crime detection.
Well, the autograph for my kid, he's at the age where he thinks your stuff is wonderful.
But you don't, huh?
Well,
I don't think so much of your police methods, so we're even.
Yes, sir.
Now, I better get back to work. So long, McGinnis.
So long, Mr. Lane, and thanks a lot for the autograph. It'll tickle the socks off my kid.
And so Robert Lane settles back to work on his masterpiece, the story of the perfect crime, the story that may result in a nationwide flood of mayhem, if he allows it to be published.
Hello? Oh, hello, Marge. Yes, darling, I'm working. No, you didn't disturb me. No, I'll be through in a little while anyway, then we can go to dinner. It's quite a story. My best. Yes, dear. Oh, will you stop worrying? I've told you 1,000,000 times to forget all about it. He isn't going to do anything. No, you love me. That's all there is to it. He realizes that. Yes, I know. But he was just letting off steam. Those threats of his don't bother me. Look, I haven't even seen him in several days, even though we do live in the same building and on the same floor. Sure. I'll be finished in about a half hour. Suppose I pick you up at 6:30. We'll have an early dinner. Yeah, and then I can get back and beginning the second draft of Perfect Crime. Yeah, that's the name of the story. Perfect Crime.
Robert Lane is writing the story of a perfect crime. Robert Lane has an enemy who has uttered threats against him. Robert Lane is skillful at constructing intriguing plots. But so is life. And sometimes life weaves a plot more intriguing, more thrilling than the figments of a writer's imagination. But Robert Lane doesn't think of this. He finishes the first draft of Perfect Crime and goes to dinner with the lady he addressed as Marge. Now he returns to his apartment. He opens the door and...
Lane, you're going to die. See this gun in my hand?
Jewett, you.
Yes, I.
What are you doing in my apartment?
I thought I'd made that quite clear. I'm here to kill you.
Stop joking.
Does this gun look like a joke?
Don't be a fool, Jewett. You can't get away with it.
That's what the character in your story said. But the other fellow did get away with it.
My story? It isn't on the desk where I left it.
No. No, I've burned it up.
Burned my story?
Naturally. What did you expect? You didn't think I'd leave it here as a blueprint for the police to follow? No. No, I destroyed it after reading it very carefully. It was quite a story.
Thank you.
No, thank you for planning your own death.
But
You didn't think it would be used against you. You should have. Something inside you, let's say your subconscious mind, should have warned you. Your subconscious mind made you call the murderer Jet. That's almost my name. You called the lady Myra. Oh, that's pretty close to Marge. Strange, isn't it?
Fiction is one thing and real murder
is the same thing. Don't underrate your calling. You plotted the perfect crime. All right. This will be the perfect crime. I'll follow your plan in every detail. You, my dear Lane, will, to all intents and purposes, commit suicide.
But the sound of the shot
will not be heard. I've taken the proper precautions, just the way you said in your story. I've even tested the mechanism by firing a shot up into the air through an open window, and I've replaced the bullet so the police won't find 2 empty cartridges where there should be only 1. I'll also remove the silencer.
You're mad.
Oh, you're quoting from the story again. Now, I'll quote from it, too. This should give you quite a kick. Not every man gets the chance to study his own post-mortem.
Jewett, please.
Oh, now you're getting away from the story. Your fictitious character didn't plead for mercy. Instead, he tried to talk the other fellow out of killing him by telling him he'd never get the girl. Remember? He said Jet would never get Myra because he'd be frying in the, fireless cooker.
Jewett, listen to me.
But I'll bet you I do get Marge after you're out of the way.
Jewett, please.
I'm through listening, and so are you. You'll hear only 2 more things. First, the line from your story. You'll make a handsome corpse. Consider that your epitaph. And second, the faint sound of the muffled shot by which you are committing suicide.
There's never been a better time to save on quality designer fashions than during Big Steel Man's year-end sale.
Look at Big Steel, look at Big Steel Man. Look at Big Steel Man.
Start the new year in superb designer fashions at the best possible prices. Choose your look from Daniel Hester, Genera, Biagiotti, Avery Rowe, Target, and more. There's shirts from $9.99, pants from $16.99, outerwear from $39.99, suits from just $99.99. Designer fashions from only $9.99.
Look at Big Steel, look at Big Steel Man. Look at Big Steel Man.
So, start your new year off in great designer fashions from Big Steel and save during Big Steel Man's year-end sale.
Look at Big Steel Man.
Big Steel Man's year-end sale starts Tuesday. Don't miss the savings of the year. And now the conclusion of The Haunting Hour on 104 Chum FM.
A well-known writer of murder mysteries named Robert Lane was working on a story of a perfect crime, a murder that had all the earmarks of a suicide, when McGinnis, the house detective of the building he lived in, dropped in to see him. McGinnis and Lane continued a long-standing friendly argument about police methods of crime detection. Lane contended that the police usually lack imagination, while McGinnis maintained that their methods get results. After McGinnis had gone, Lane got a phone call from a girl called Marge, his fiancée. He took her to dinner, and when he returned to his apartment, Jewett, who also loved Marge,
and from whom Lane had alienated Marge's affections, was waiting for him. Jewett had destroyed Lane's manuscript of The Perfect Crime because he intended to use the technique described in the story to kill Lane. Afterward, he wiped his fingerprints from the gun and placed it in Lane's hand. Now he proceeds to carry out the rest of the plan of The Perfect Crime.
Well, McGinnis ought to be here any minute. He's usually very punctual. Is he to be our fourth tonight? That's right, Warren.
Well, for a house detective, he's a pretty good bridge player.
Well, what are you complaining about? We want him for a bridge player, not a detective.
Well, who's complaining?
Come in.
Evening, gents.
Oh, McGinnis.
Sorry to be late, Mr. Jewett.
Oh, that's all right, McGinnis. You're only a few minutes behind time. Well, what detained you? Run into a murder or something?
No, I wouldn't be here now if I had. It wasn't anything as serious as all that.
Just jewel robbery, eh?
No, Mr. Marshall, just a case of the assistant manager wanting somebody to listen to one of his so-called funny stories.
And of all people, he had to pick on you.
Well, Mr. Warren, there wasn't much I could do about it. You see, I'm not supposed to be up here playing bridge while I'm on duty.
Well, we won't tell on you, McGinnis.
No. Well, you've been doing this for months now, McGinnis. No one's any the wiser.
Well, are we going to gab all night, or did you fellows come up here to play bridge?
Well, you're the host, Jewett. Start the ball rolling.
Okay. I'll take McGinnis for my partner.
Oh, so you want the best bridge player in the building, huh? All right. Marshall and I'll pin your ears back anyway. Yeah, you said it, Warren. I feel kind of lucky tonight.
So do I. So do I. That's to teach you to brag, Marshal.
Well, you certainly are lucky tonight, Jewett.
Yeah. This is my night.
Yeah, we made an overtrick in that last hand.
Yeah, partner, but watch this one.
You know, I talked to Mr. Lane earlier today.
Was that so?
Yeah.
What do you have to say, if anything?
Oh, he was kind of excited. Said he was working on the story of a perfect crime.
You don't say.
Yeah. I think he got a little peeved when I told him we Flatfoots could probably solve it.
Oh, let's cut the gab and play bridge. Well, maybe we'll get a break this time, Marshal. I hope so. And we need it.
I'm open. 2 spades.
Pass.
2 no trump.
Pass.
3 spades.
Pass.
4 spades.
Pass.
Oh, that makes me dummy. Here you are, McGinnis. Good luck. I think I'll go get a glass of water. Any of you fellas want some?
No,
thanks.
The next step in The Perfect Crime. Being dummy in the bridge game, Jewett uses this opportunity to step into the bathroom of his apartment. He turns on the faucet so that the sound of running water will be heard in the next room. Then he quietly raises the window. Not more than 5 feet away, across an areaway, the open bathroom window of Lane's apartment gapes at him. From his pocket, he takes a small bomb, called a cherry bomb, used in military mock warfare to simulate the sound of gunfire in battle. Lane has fastened a long fuse to the cherry bomb. Now he lights it and throws it into Lane's window. Then he closes his own window, turns off the water, and leisurely saunters back to the bridge game.
Well, how's it going, McGinnis?
Not bad at all.
Marshall and I certainly taking the beating tonight.
We made our book, Mr. Jewett.
Good. I knew I could count on you.
3 more to go for contract.
Maybe I should have stood in bed. You and I both, Warren. I never thought...
What was that?
Sounded like a shot to me.
No, probably the backfire from a car.
Ah, it's too close. It sounded like it came from Mr. Lane's apartment. I'm going to take a look.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, we might as well go along with you.
Huh? Let's see.
There must be somebody here. Light on.
Anybody here? Mr. Lane?
Look, over there.
Why, it's Lane.
With a gun in his hand.
McGinnis. Is he...
Yeah. He's dead.
Poor devil.
Gee. You'd think a fellow as successful as he would Well, he'd have everything he wanted, everything to live for. Well, never can tell. Yeah. Just goes to show you. Gee, suicide.
I'll have to ask you gentlemen not to touch anything in here.
Well, naturally. Well, what are you going to do, McGinnis? Call the police?
In a minute. I'll take a look around the place first, though. Yeah, I think I talked to him just a few hours ago. Had a crazy idea. His story told how a crime could be committed so perfectly, cops would never catch the killer. Wonder what that story is.
Maybe he mailed it to a magazine before he did this.
Could be.
Well, is there anything we can do to help you?
Well, nothing I can think of, but thanks all the same, Mr. Marshall. But the only thing I can think of now is to try to find out why Mr. Lane did this. That'll make me show up better on the police report, and maybe the assistant manager will go a little easy on me for stealing off to play cards.
You mean you're going to look for the motive before you call the police?
Yeah, something like that, Mr. Jewett. You know, there must have been some reason for him doing this.
Bound to. Oh, but what? How can you find out? You can't ask a dead man questions.
No, but I can ask him of the living. You and Mr. Lane didn't get along so good, did you, Mr. Jewett?
Well, we weren't on speaking terms, if that's what you mean. But I'm sure he didn't do this because of our little difference.
Why, of course not. Man doesn't end his life because he has a falling out with a neighbor. Quite a lot of people who don't like me, but you don't find me committing suicide.
Everybody has people he doesn't get along with, but that's no reason.
All of you were sure it was suicide.
Well, do you suspect foul play?
I'm not saying.
Oh, come now, man. Either it's murder or it isn't.
Mr. Jewett, a man doesn't take his life without a good reason.
Well, I'll agree to that.
Or on the other hand, does a man kill someone without a good reason?
True.
Then the thing for me to do is to find the reason.
The motive.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it that.
Well, what are you going to do? Round up all his enemies and quiz them? Put them through the third degree?
No, nothing like that.
Well, maybe you'll try to trap them with some psychological situation, huh?
That's what Mr. Lane might have suggested. Some fancy highfalutin stuff like the stuff he used in his stories.
And you don't believe in that, is that it, McGinnis?
Nah, no professional policeman does, Mr. Warren. That kind of tricks may work in the movies, but it ain't practical for everyday purposes.
I suppose you'll take pictures of the room from every angle?
Maybe, later on.
Oh, I know. Ballistics. Why didn't I think of that before? You'll check to see if the bullet that killed Lane came from the gun in his hand.
That's routine. We always do that.
Then what are you going to do?
Right now, I'm going to ask you gentlemen to go home.
And you?
I'm going to take a look around. And then I'll phone the police.
Hello? Is that you, Marge? This is Jewett. Listen to me, Marge. I don't know how to say this. It isn't the kind of news anyone likes to tell. But, well, you know I don't like Lane, and you know why, but still I didn't wish to see him. Brace yourself, my dear, and please believe me. I'm sincerely sorry, but Lane is dead. Yes? Suicide. No, don't take it so hard, Marge. My dear, if there's anything I can do...
And now Jewett sits back and heaves a sigh of satisfaction. He has taken the second step toward re-winning the girl Lane had taken from him. Jewett smiled, because the whole idea had come from a story Lane had just finished writing. No wonder Lane had called the story Perfect Crime. No one could solve it. Just then, the door opened.
Jewett, you're gonna die. See this gun in my hand?
McGinnis, are you crazy? What do you mean?
I mean business. You're gonna squirm in the electric chair for the murder of Robert Lane. You didn't think you could get away with it, did you?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Thought you were smart, huh? Well, this case is so easy anybody could figure it out. In the first place, you put the gun in Lane's right hand. You didn't know he was left-handed, did you?
Why,
I know. That's a detail you bright boys don't bother with. But we cops do. Then, in the second place, Lane's body was quite cool. That's something else you didn't think of. You forgot that a man who's supposed to have just shot himself is still warm. Just as warm as you or me.
But why accuse me? Why claim I did it?
Well, that's the third thing you overlooked. You see, you evidently wiped your fingerprints off the gun, but you forgot to wipe them off the new cartridge you placed in the gun. Like I said to Mr. Lane, any dopey cop could figure it out.
From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubt and fear. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory in the haunting hour.
That's going to do it for Strange Tales this week. There's more from The Haunting Hour at relicradio.com, relicradio.com. You can find thousands of other old-time radio episodes, more from Strange Tales, all the other podcasts, and our Shoutcast stream with even more old-time radio. If you'd like to help support it all, visit donate.relicradio.com or click on the donate link on the website. We're 100% supported by you. We have no advertising, so if you'd like to help out, help keep it that way, give that button a push. Thanks to all those who have helped out. Thanks for joining me today. I'll talk to you again next Sunday with another episode of Relic Radio's Strange Tales.